Happy Monday, diehards and degenerates. How's everybody doing? Welcome back to the Die Hard MMA podcast. I'm your host, as always, your boy, Clint. And guess what? We should be rocking the baby blue Die Hard stimulus check t-shirt today. It's freaking cold. I decided not to wear it because I am frozen as a popsicle. I know I've got thin blood from living in Arizona my entire dang life. So unfortunately, just being below the 60-degree mark is enough for me to break out the blankets and the hoodies. So it's cold today. I'm not wearing a t-shirt for this particular show. I hope everybody is doing well. I'm very cheerful and very happy coming off of UFC Brazil 283. It was an awesome night of fights. I hung out at the Majestic all day, found out they've got a strawberry cider that is just delicious. I don't know if you think I'm a me, and I had several of those, a couple of margaritas. I was feeling good, hung out, promoted Superbook Sports. A couple of people from fans of the show. I met Rips and Picks from Twitter. Shout out Rips. It was awesome to meet you. That was a good time hanging out with a fellow Twitter user and watch the fun. And we won. It doesn't get any better than that. Had an absolute smoke show of an event, coming home plus 11.45 units. Dang, that feels good. Oh, everything. You know what? You go back, listen to last week's show, listen to the undefeated. I mean, I got 2 fights wrong. And this is where okay, so as gamblers, we got to put it in check, right? We got to put it in check because I had a good night. I've been on an awful run. 2022 was legendary bad. But for some reason, I still can't get the I should have bet more out of my head. Even coming off of an 11-unit night, I'm like, I should have bet on everything. I should have bet them all. Because nailed bomb theme KO, nailed bomb theme sub, the over 1.5 for the Jailton Almeida fight. Butthole pucker just a little bit, but you would have got that plus 250. And then I had on draws by decision, the Murphy over 2.5. Guys, I could have wheeled up the dump truck at UFC 283. And then on top of that, now this is one I will legitimately complain about. I chickened out on the fight doesn't go the distance in the co-main event and the round 3, 4, 5 sprinkles for Brandon Moreno. I don't know. I'm trying to fix my my product here. I want to fix my ROI. I want to make sure I'm profitable. I was extremely confident in Brandon getting the win. I was pretty dang sure he was getting the knockout. But in the event that I was wrong, I didn't want to drop 8 units on one play if I happened to be wrong. Turns out I was right, and it would have been an enormous score. So I kind of let that one get just a little bit from me. But last week, somebody came on the show and asking for a birthday pick, and I gave out Moreno by knockout as the birthday pick. I wrote that up for my prop squad article that I do for the boys over with the Action Network. So definitely shouted out Moreno knockout from the rooftops at plus 650, and that came home like a charm. And then my boy Jamal freaking Hill beating Glover in Brazil and new. I couldn't be happier with the way this event went. I mean, I basically just recapped the entire thing already for you all there, but I'm going to welcome in the chat. What's up, everybody? My guy, Patrick, Addicted to Combat. Thank you very much, my friend. I appreciate you. We've got Josh, Locks, Jeff, K, Fender, Jazz, Justin. How's everybody doing? The undefeated sober Costa. What's going on? Hope everybody is doing well. So, no fights this week. I mean, what the heck? I don't understand. PFL isn't even getting started for 2 more months. I guess Friday there's the PFL Challenger Series or something like that. It's their version of Dana White's Contender Series. Haven't looked hardly at all into that myself. Maybe I'll take a look at it, but we didn't really have anything else to dig into. There's no major organizations, there's no Bellator, no nothing, and even football's winding down. So I'm just gonna have to keep myself occupied betting on the NHL at this point for the next 2 weeks, unfortunately. Tonight, we're just going to spend some time together. We're just going to hang out. I'll talk with you guys in the chat. If you have any questions or, if you want to shout anything out, like this is that episode, we'll just kind of get together and have a good freaking time. There's probably only going to be, 30 of us because people don't show up unless we're talking about betting and stuff like that. So those of you who are here, just know you're the awesome ones. I very much appreciate you all for spending Monday night here with me. A Scouser shows up in the chat as well. Andrade money. Probably so. I actually did do a parlay. I went Chiefs, Eagles, Andrade. The only reason I didn't throw it out there and tweet it out and stuff like that, the last time I did that, where I did football with the MMA, you get the record Nazis that are like, no, bro, it's not MMA. It doesn't count. Can't count it on your record. All right. I'll just bet that kind of shit myself. And oh, shoot, I'm not supposed to curse. I'll keep it to myself. By the way, apparently YouTube really cracking down on the profanity. So we're not supposed to curse, especially for the first 5 minutes of the show. Looks like I just hit the 6-minute mark, but I'm definitely going to try to clean up the language just a little bit because our views are getting butchered because you guys know us here at Pub. We go off. We say some ridiculous things and we're cursing left and right in our shows. So I'm going to try just a little bit. Don't worry, we're not going to remove it entirely, but definitely going to clean it up just a bit so the algorithm doesn't hate us moving forward. Josh, what is up, my guy? That's some good stuff right there. Glad to hear that you were on those same spots there with me. It was good. Undefeated Sober Costa saying, what do you think about the next card from a betting perspective? And you know what? I always love these types of questions on these off weeks because, guys, with the family life and all that kind of stuff going on, I take these weeks off. I absolutely do. There's people out there that are 2-3 weeks ahead placing bets way ahead of time, and that's just never me. So I haven't even hardly looked at next week's card, and my immediate thoughts on it are I ain't staying up till midnight to watch this. No. If you guys don't know, next week's event, Lewis versus Spivak, it starts at 10 p.m. Eastern. Starts at 10 p.m. Eastern. So we're going to be up into the wee hours of the morning next week if you want to take part watching this fight live. If there was ever a time for me to be like, I'm 35 years old, I'm tapping out, I'll catch the replay on this one, it's this card, guys. This one has a bunch of fighters who are new to us, which that's not anything out of the ordinary, but it's the Asia market. So it's going to be a lot of Japanese and Chinese fighters that we're very unfamiliar with. We're not going to know about their quality of competition. Big question marks. Big question marks. There's 3 or 4 fights where, there's some names on here that you're going to recognize, like Blagoy Ivanov, Marcin Tybura. It's not a great fight, but those guys. Du Ho Choi is fighting Kyle Nelson, but there's going to be some big chalky favorites. And then there's going to be some very unknown, untrustworthy quantities on this card. So we're going to have to navigate land mines. It's kind of a bummer going from, we had the long break over the holidays, 2 events, an epic Brazil card, a week break, and then this. It's like, man, you're really going to put me on a week break and bring me back on this card? I got a feeling my bets are going to be slim next week. One of the things I really, like I mentioned, I'm focusing hard on that record and making sure I'm putting money in your and my pockets this year. I am absolutely not going to be letting loose and rapid firing on this kind of a card after putting 11 units in my pocket to start the year. We're going to try and find a couple of spots that we actually like, and we'll go from there. But mostly going to be these chalky favorites. It's I'll probably always find a way to fade Devin Clark. He's fighting Da-Un Jung. You guys will know me. I'm probably going to line up on the other side of that one. And Kyle Nelson's a guy that's usually pretty easy to get on the other side of at this point in his career. But there's a couple of them on here. There's a couple spots. We'll figure it out. All right. Get chat up with everybody else here. We see some people rolling in. There's 28 of you spending your Monday nights with me. Thank you all so much. Smash the like button with me. Justin saying, let the people bet WWE. I'll take the chance. Yeah, man, I'll bet on the snails racing in the backyard if you let me. But when it's 1,000, okay, so people talk about, NFL being rigged and stuff like that. But like when it's scripted, I'm not, I'm not betting on it when it's scripted. It's a fake wrestling match. I can't put my money on stuff. You're more of a degenerate than if you're going for that. Yeah, Josh is agreeing with me here. Next week is super hard for betting. And Scouser, yeah, the only ones that kind of jump off the page at me, like I said, I'll probably bet on Da Un Jung and I'll probably bet on Du Ho Choi. Maybe a 2-leg parlay between those two guys. We're going to have to look at everybody else because they're all names I don't necessarily recognize or not familiar with. The Mandy Bum Ji Yoon Kim fight is actually a little bit interesting because both of them are like really bad. And y'all know me, I love Fire Fist. I love Ji Yoon Kim. But Mandy Bohm is somebody who's just got like the physicality side of things. She's super big. She's super long. I think she's kind of a fraud. I couldn't believe people were picking her over what was it? Victoria Leonardo, I think, in her last fight. Maybe I'm mixing up my women here, but she's 0-2 in the UFC. Like, it almost feels like the UFC is really trying to get Ji Yoon Kim like a leg up and a win here. So maybe her, but you don't ever like to lay a price with Ji Yoon Kim. We'll see. We'll see. JSG, what's going on? Thank you very much for making it live. Sorry, sorry it wasn't, a big card or something that you made for, but we'll hang out. If you got anything for me, drop a chat. We'll definitely go ahead and hit it here. Let's see here. Scouser. Oh, tell me about it. A lot of people think WWE is real. There's this girl in high school that I used to argue with. I mean, like full on. I couldn't ever get behind WWE. Like even before I got into MMA, I just could not get into WWE. Again, the fact that it's not real thing that I was just like, man, like why? Now I'm very much like the let people have fun thought process. I'm like, you know what? If you like it, if you're entertained by it, at the end of the day, that's all it's for. So go for it. But back then I was not built that way. I was very much like, no, it's fake and it's stupid. Like, why do you like it so much? And she would fight tooth and nail with me that it was real. Some of those people legitimately are delusional about it, but you can't argue with stupid. So don't even bother trying. Actually, it was really funny because she used to call me and my best friend gay and then came out as gay when we were like 25 years old. I saw it on Facebook. It was, that's one of those things where, okay, so let me just preface, you guys know me, very much don't care what other people do and what they think of. Like if you're gay, if you're bi, if you're trans, like none of that bothers me. I don't care. I've always been an ally, not an issue. But when you're in high school and somebody's calling you and your best bro gay on a daily basis, like when I was growing up, that was the ultimate insult. Like you could not get away with calling somebody gay without, throwing hands. So like it was not cool for this chick to just belittle me on a daily basis. And she was beefy. She played on the softball team. And then when I saw the post years later she came out, I was like, oh, just one of those ones that you're like, oh my God, like she actually pulled that thing on me where she actually ended up, being the one. Okay, again, not trying to make fun of her or anything. She was probably just not capable or comfortable coming out of the closet, which I know that's a tough thing, but don't bully other people if you're the one trapped in that situation. There's just no point in spreading that kind of hate. It was just funny because she tortured me, man. I hated her. Not because she was gay, because she tortured me. Anyway, how's everybody else doing? The chat is kind of jumping a little bit and getting caught up after all this stuff. Cody L, the Andrade decision was never the play. How the heck did that not get stopped? I had a feeling that was going to come up on the show today because Lauren Murphy actually just tweeted something about that. She's like really frustrated with people, all the podcasters and stuff on Twitter, calling for the fight to be stopped now that she's gotten back to Twitter. And she does have a certain point where she's talking about like how nobody's calling for the Glover fight to be stopped. So it kind of felt like it was like one-sided instant. She doesn't want people, if you have that biased opinion, to miss 4 or 5. Every single one of those should have been stopped. Like I thought Glover should have been stopped. I don't know how those fights didn't get stopped. And that's where like it's Glover. It's the main event. It's his retirement fight if he loses. He's at home in Brazil. They're never stopping that fight. Not that it shouldn't have been stopped. I actually think it very much probably should have. It's a 43-year-old man getting his face beat in. But, you know, that's neither here nor there. I think that those fights, all of them absolutely should have been stopped. And rough to see her face, bludgeoned and swelling like that. She's tough, man. I tweeted out, I was like, $2 steaks are now as tough as Lauren Murphy is. Like, I don't know how you survive that kind of an onslaught. And it was clear from like the reason I thought it should have been stopped is that it was clear from like the first minute of round 2 that she had no answer. She was slower. She wasn't strong enough. She wasn't getting the takedowns. Like for me, and this again, this is me personally. This is just my opinion. This is the way I approach it. If I'm in somebody's corner and it becomes apparent that you're going to get your ass beat for 15 straight minutes and get a couple extra years taken off of your life and brain damage and CTE because there's no chance anything that you're doing is going to work that night, throw in the towel. And that's where it became very much apparent that nothing she had for Andrade was going to work for her. Same thing with Glover. Going into that 4th round, probably should have stopped it. Like, I know it's Glover and he's the comeback king and he gets people on the ground and he does have that one insane edge on the ground, so he could always be live for that comeback. But it wasn't happening. You know what I mean? Like those are the kinds of ones where like, Leon head kick, you think about that one. He was never in any real danger. He didn't look like he was going to come back. There also was no real reason to stop that fight. It was within an inch of his life. The 2 this weekend looked like they were. You absolutely could have thrown the towel in for those. Reading the chat. Yeah, Jimmy, that's right. Here's one more year of you being the weekday UFC undefeated champ. Never lost a weekday fight. Jimmy, the undefeated post weigh-in show, baby. Never, not a single one. Not a bad read, not once. Let's see here. We got Supernatural saying Chael made a good point about it. I know. Yeah, you got to think of the source. It's coming from Chael. It's not about the damage. It's about whether or not you can win or not. And yeah, there was no win for either of them. And that's my point. I didn't know Chael said that, but that's exactly how I feel about it, is that you're just saving years on a fighter's life if they're not going to be able to come back and win the fight. Sometimes it's the matchup, like in this case, like Murphy just doesn't have the tools to beat Andrade. Sometimes it's just not your night. And I wish corners would take that into account a little bit more often. We've got James. What's going on? Love you too, buddy. Thank you very much. I certainly hope that we crush this year, man. I really should place that Bruins future really soon. I should. I've been talking about that because they just, man, every time the Bruins get into a spot where you're like, you know what, they could let down. Like this could be the spot that they just don't care about this game. There's nothing on the line. Doesn't make sense. They could lose it. They blow them out of the water. Like, I don't know what's in the water over with the Bruins because they are running on another level this season. I hope they don't just like fall flat on their face first round of the playoffs because they've been, trying so hard for the entire season. They got nothing left to give or something like that. We've seen that happen before, with other teams that like the first team to qualify for playoffs, sometimes they fall apart in the playoffs because they don't maintain, because they stop playing like a month early, that kind of thing. I just hope nothing like that happens with the Bruins. But if you've got futures on the Bruins, you're actually probably in a pretty dang good spot. Justin saying hard to go off damage with Murphy face. In that case, oh, that's mean. Justin, it's so mean. All right. Josh saying that Chael talks smack about the Jamal Hill pick. I love it. You got to call him out, man. If people get after you and you get the win, you got to go after them. That's how it works. I got so much crap for going against Terrence McKinney this week. So much crap. I was like, owe me an apology. I called that fight to a T. Like, okay, let me be on the record. I think Terrence is a special athlete. I think that kid is going to be a problem, but he's taking that first little baby step to being an actual high-level UFC fighter. He's been relying on his explosiveness. He's been relying on his athleticism, and that's what got him here to this point. But his skills are not up to par at the UFC level right now, and we saw that on Saturday What he did was he focused on his cardio and he slowed the pace down so that he could actually be an effective fighter for 15 minutes instead of being round one or bust. That's good. That's a good thing. That's exactly what you're supposed to do. But what he learned in that circumstance is that he does not have the technical skill to beat his opponent in the UFC that night. So what he needs to do is take a year off. He needs to take a year off. They're doing to Terrence what they did to Darren Till. He's a special athlete. He's big for the division. He's got all the hype, and they're trying to run him up the ladder. If he takes some time off, level up some of those skills, merge the striking with the wrestling, get that cardio in check, he's going to be a problem. Give Terrence McKinney a year or two. He's going to be a problem. But right now, he's not ready for this level. And the UFC knew that, putting him in that spot in Brazil. They put all that hype on the Bonfim brothers. Thankfully, we cashed in on it. It's always nice to win that bet, but definitely want to see Terrence McKinney do well moving forward. Absolutely. Josh saying sad for Jeff Molina. Very sad for Jeff Molina. I'm very disappointed about that whole situation. And I need money. I don't know how Murphy survived. They really need to have, Lauren Murphy and Yoel Romero put in a lab somewhere and figure out how they are built the way that they are, because I swear they've got to have triple bone density compared to it's crazy. Max in the house saying Skull Vikes. That's what's up. You know what? Unfortunately, bad year for us. We got ousted from the playoffs yet again, but lots of hope. Lots of hope. We're headed a good direction. Got a good coach. Got some young, good crops of players. If we can offload a couple of big salaries, like give the Vikings a year or two. They're gonna be dangerous in the next couple of years for sure. For sure. Oh, by the way, you guys got to check it out. The wife came in strong this week. Check it. Early Valentine's Day present. She got me the believe sign. I'm happy about that. I wanted to get one of those. I'm pretty pumped up about that. Let's see. Josh saying that he backed Terrence McKinney. Still a great fighter. Needs a lot of work though. And yeah, that's it, Josh. That's it. He's young. He's super young. We see that a lot these days. These young fighters, they just try to move way too quick. Way too quick. Ooh, Justin saying they need to pay for Derek Carr. Do we though? Do we, Justin? I mean, Derek didn't have the best year, and he had like an all-star stud receiver. I think, honestly, we need to go to the draft. I would actually really prefer it if the Vikings tried to pick up one of these young super stud quarterbacks that's coming up in the next year or two, have them learn behind Kirk Cousins, get out from under any of those gigantic contracts, not pay for a current maybe okay star quarterback. Like, I'm not sold on Derek Carr, frankly, and we need to focus on bulk up that offensive line, give a young kid time, and then find our Mahomes. You know what I mean? Find our kid, because you look at the quarterbacks that are all in the finals right now. They're all dudes who were just studs and rolled into the NFL. Geez, UFC. And I mean, like, look at the Jaguars. Trevor Lawrence. It took him a year, but look at him now. Like, that's what we need to find. I think the Vikings need that future quarterback, and as much as I love the team we've got, and there's a couple of good options out there, I just don't want to be bogged down by another maybe salary where we're overpaying for somebody who couldn't get it done with another team. Frankly, that's just me. Max asking, do I believe that Jamal Hill will be a long-term light heavyweight? Seems to be Ankalaev gives him the business. Max, I have called on that fight many a time. I think that Jamal Hill is the programmed robot built in a lab to defeat Magomed Ankalaev. I wanted that fight to be for the belt. I thought Magomed Ankalaev was going to get the belt over Jan, and then we were going to get that fight one or two fights down the road where Jamal had a little bit extra time to kind of grow and evolve, and then he'd be able to snag the belt from Ankalaev. He's got exactly what Ankalaev struggles with. Ankalaev has been hurt, rocked, chinned, knocked down multiple times. He's not invincible. He doesn't have that ironclad durability, and it's always the boxing. It's always in close. It's in the pocket. That's when he gets clipped and caught by people. So he's really got to rely on like his ranged kicking, striking, and then mixing in with his wrestling. He doesn't do well in that boxing range. Jamal Hill is going to wreck Magomed Ankalaev. I've said it for years now. especially showing off the takedown defense and the get up game that Jamal Hill did this weekend. If he keeps improving in that area, Ankalaev's got not going to want to have anything to do with Jamal at striking distance because Jamal's got that long reach. He'll be able to touch him even when Magomed's trying to land the kicks. I think Jamal knocks Magomed Ankalaev out, frankly. The one that I'm worried about is Jiri. If Jiri comes back quick, I thought he was going to be out for like another 9 months or a year. I'm a Jamal Hill fan. I think Jamal Hill is going to hold that belt for a little while, but I also expected Jiri to be out for a little while longer than he's going to be. I think Jamal Hill gives a lot of people in that division problems, and I do think he can hold the belt for a couple of years, especially showing that he is still improving the way that he has been. But Jiri is terrifying. Did you guys see the video he posted afterward? I mean, bro is like outside in like 2 feet of snow screaming, "I'm coming." I'm like, oh my gosh, that man, whoo. I mean, I'm 35 years old, and when I grow up, I want to be Jiri. Like he's terrifying. Anna saying I said that Lauren would be competitive. Did I? I don't think I said that. In fact, I went back to like listen to a couple of the things and like clip fun segments out of the podcast just earlier today. I said that she very well might make it the 15 minutes, but I thought she was going to get nuked by Andrade. So, Anna, I'm sorry. I don't know that I said that. You know, if I did and you put money on it, sorry. Like I do multiple shows every single week. Sometimes your opinions fluctuate and change by the end of the week, but I've been pretty solid on Andrade being the side there literally the entire week and all of my shows last week. I'm not sure where you got the competitive part from. I said she was tough. I said she would hang in there. Let's see here. Okay, asking when is the Hill Onk betting lines opened up. That unfortunately, Magomed Ankalaev pissed off the UFC. He's probably going to need to get 2 wins before he gets back to the belt. Because I mean, look at it. They've got. Let's look at this. Let's look at this for a second. So for UFC light heavyweight, and of course, when you're typing while you're talking, it takes 3 times as long. It's not sexy. Right now, we've got Jamal Hill, and we've got other players in the division. I forgot rankings, of course. That's why I'm on the wrong site. So, you've got other players in the division that are always possible for coming up. But Jiri gets the immediate title shot when he comes right back. Magomed and Ankalaev just lost to Jan, so neither of those guys are coming back anytime soon. The UFC is pissed off at Magomed for letting that fight slip away, letting it be a draw, not pushing the pace. They're going to make him fight somebody. So maybe Magomed fights Rakic, or maybe he fights, he just fought Anthony Smith, so there's really not a lot of options for him besides like Krylov and Rakic, or, Craig just lost to. So it's got to be one of those guys. But the way this fight played out, Alex Pereira was really like getting in the business of Jamal Hill, and it looked like he kind of took that loss personally. We could see like a champ versus champ situation. Alex is not a young man, and he's actually taller than Jamal Hill, even though he's a middleweight. We could get a champ fight. If Jiri is not going to be back within like the next 6 to 9 months, I could see them holding it. Really, honestly, it could like actually hold up the division. I could see the UFC wanting to book Jiri versus Hill as the next fight, and then book someone like Magomed with Rakic as a title eliminator. But if Alex Pereira wants the champ fight, I'll bet you the UFC makes that. Fresh off the story of Glover getting beaten and retiring, moving up a weight class to avenge, his trainer and his friend, like that's a heck of a story. They will absolutely run Alex Pereira versus Jamal Hill, and then basically say Jiri gets the title shot when he comes back. And if he's not ready to come back yet, then the winner of Magomed Ankalaev versus Alexander Rakic. That's got to be the move. Honestly, if they do Hill versus Jiri, Hill versus Pereira, I'm fine with either of those. But Magomed did fight just, an event or two ahead of Jamal Hill. So you got to think that he needs to turn around and get one more fight at least before Dana even wants to think about putting that guy in another title shot. Let's see here. Getting caught up. Oh my gosh, James. The Coyotes, there's, it's a rebuild team. So we're going to be really bad for like the next 2 years. we're gonna every time somebody older-ish climb, they're doing the rebuild really well. Every time somebody starts making waves, but they're a little older or they're a little expensive, they're dumping them for more draft picks. Like we're gonna have a young, hungry, stacked team in like 2-3 years. So we're gonna be dangerous. But when these young kids click right now, they just show up and blow someone out of the water. Like I never thought they were going to beat Vegas the other night, and they stomped them. Like it just they're going to lose 5-6 games in a row, and then they'll win one that nobody sees coming because that's the night that these young kids, start getting itchy and they put it all together for one night. Max saying that Alex would have to fight Izzy first, though. But does he? I mean, is that immediate rematch happening? I mean, I think it needs to, but I'm not sure. I haven't heard anything about it that you'd think they would have announced it by now. I don't know what they're waiting on. Like, I don't know if somebody's got an injury or what, but I kind of thought we would have heard about that rematch by now already, and it hasn't come to light that they've booked it. So I don't know if Izzy versus Bear 2 is happening quite that quickly. Justin saying I got Sean O'Malley card yesterday. Shiny paid $2, and it's crazy. It's not Prism, but Shiny O'Malley would flip. Yeah, it's a good call. Hang on to that shit because he's one of the most popular fighters the UFC has on the roster right now, and he's knocking on the door for that title. They're going to push Sean O'Malley straight into that title as quickly as humanly possible. Let's see here. Did you? Yeah, the Terrence and Barstool drama. I did see that, and I think, I think he's got every right to be upset, right? Like, Barstool is this big giant media company. Which, don't get me wrong, I love Barstool. I love Big Ev. He came on the show last year. Like, there's a lot of guys over there that I really like and I enjoy. And Kelly, someone who I've looked up to in the betting realm for a long time, is over at Barstool. So I don't have a bad word to say about Barstool, their personalities and things like that. But that one was weird. Like the fact that they like drew a line in the sand because he's been calling for the Patty fight, and then they kind of mock him for getting knocked out. I mean, I don't know. You guys know me. Like I'm never a giant fan of like pointing and laughing when somebody loses brain cells. A lot of the MMA community does that, and they're okay with it, and that's kind of the norm. So like, I guess maybe I'm the outlier, but I don't think Terrence really did anything wrong by being upset that they would do that kind of a thing. But frankly, book it, man. Let's do Terrence and Patty, because you guys think he's a bum and you guys think he's easy money. Should be no problem for Patty the Batty, right? Why don't we book that fight? I think that's the solution. Just book the fight, man. Terrence McKinney and Patty the Batty. There's been bad blood. There's been talk, and you guys got all in the media about it, hyped it up. Sells itself, baby. Let the kid recover and throw that fight together. I think that's the move. Let's see. Justin saying like Elon, like Edwards is not the true John. Oh, this is a follow up. Brandon Moreno and Hill champs because the true champ is not holding down the fort. When a champ excuses himself from the picture, you get rank 3 to 6, able to get title shots. That's not right. Like how Edwards is not the true dominant champ or flyweight since Cejudo left and the light heavyweight top 654 now get the number 1 contender spots. I mean, kind of, yeah, but like you got to do what you got to do, right? Like at the end of the day, what do you expect them to do? They can't just have no belt because there's no champion. So like, yeah, maybe John Jones would still be the 205-pound champ if he was still here. Maybe he would be. Who knows? But he's been gone for what, 2-3 years now? Like, you can't just not have a champ for 2-3 years. So yeah, I mean, it is what it is. That's where we're at. We've got those champions now. And I don't agree with you at all on the Moreno thing, by the way, because Moreno, I think, is very much the legitimate champ. A guy like Figueiredo would have given, DJ and Cejudo problems. And Brandon Moreno has beat him multiple times now on his best day and finished him. So I don't see any issues with Brandon Moreno. Let's see how he does against Alexander Pantoja. That's a fight. That's a fight I'm getting excited for, is Pantoja getting the rematch with Brandon Moreno probably for the title next. Nick saying McKinney would destroy Patty. I think a lot of us kind of share that sentiment there, Nick. I think a lot of us think that that's probably the way that fight goes, which is why Barstool is, I don't know, to me, man, I'm like, you pick a fight with a fighter and you've got your sponsored fighter, and they just want to like pick and poke at him on the internet instead of set up the fight. Let's go. I think Terrence McKinney, I mean, even if he doesn't just chin Patty in the first round, Patty's durable. I've been on the show saying Patty's durable. I think he can just out wrestle him. You know what I mean? So I do think actually that Terrence McKinney probably beats Patty the Patty, and Barstool will keep talking shit instead of lining the fight up. What's up, Nanya? How you doing? We got a couple of members here at Pub Sports Radio checking in. Thank you guys, by the way. I do want to go ahead and shout out Pub Sports Radio. These guys have been with me for freaking ever. I owe so much to Pub Sports Radio, and they've sponsored me for a very, very long time. And now we've got membership opportunities for people. So if you would like to join and support Pub Sports Radio, pay back a little bit for some of the free content that we put out for you guys and stuff like that, that membership button is the way that you can do that. And it means the absolute world to us here at Pub Sports Radio. Helps us keep the lights on, keep the free shows coming to you. So just consider it. We appreciate it. And, of course, we appreciate you being in the chat and donating or whatever you do, or even if you're just hanging out and chatting with us, hit the like button, comment. Those are the types of things you can do to support us, and we definitely appreciate you guys. Speaking of appreciating people, I will take this moment real quick to go out and shout out a couple of people. We've got Brandon Weed, we've got Michael Lunday, Steve Baldwin. You guys have all sent me a couple of donations and things like that personally. You guys know I always try to shout the people out that do that. Last year, I always did. I never wanted to pay for my picks. I never wanted to charge for my picks. And when the podcast started for the first couple of years, man, I was hot. I was on fire. And people were always asking me, like, why don't you charge? Why don't you charge? We'll pay for your stuff, that kind of thing. Well, then last year happened, and I got destroyed. My picks were awful. I couldn't hit water if I fell out of a boat. That's why I don't want to charge people and then feel like I owe people something or feel like I misled people when it comes to their money and things like that. So that's why I've never been in the business of like selling my picks or anything like that. But whenever we did have a good night, whenever I called something big like the Moreno knockout, things like that, I would put my Cash App out there. I would put my Venmo out there, where it's just like, hey, you know what? If you feel it in your heart that, if you put money on it and you had a big score or something based off my information or my reads and you want a tip, here's the information you can. There's no expectation to, I'm not telling you that you should or you need to, but you can. There's a small handful of people that always have, and there's a small handful of people that have continued to support me, and especially guys like Timothy, like Michael Lunday, especially Michael Lunday, that have always sent me, just little perks, little tips here and there, sprinkles to show their appreciation and fandom of the show. And I just can't say how much that means to me. I mean, really, it makes a massive difference. And it means the absolute world to me that you guys would stick by me through that and still be here on the other side of the awful year that I had last year. And especially still donating with your wallet to support me. It makes a huge difference. And I feel the love. Absolutely. But speaking of Pub Sports Radio, if you guys, even if you're not going to become a member, what you guys need to do though, is join our contest. Because last week, look at that. Look at that. Right on top, plus 925. Your boy took down the contest. We're doing free pick contests here at Pub Sports Radio now. And you can just come here to pubsportsradio.com, sign up. It's, again, free. And you basically get to come in here, make your picks for the next card. You can pick your fighter. You can pick your method. Or I guess you can pick your method. You can pick your round. That's how it works. And it calculates up your points throughout the rest of the evening. And then we actually will have like a running leaderboard and stuff like that. But you can see all of the entries here for all the people that jumped in the contest. And I believe we had a cash prize last week. And I'm your champion, though. So you got to beat one of us. We've got the boys. We've got DFS by the numbers. We've got Boston Nick. We've got Locker Room, Billy Briz, Big Show picks hanging out in the background. All the boys are doing the contest. You got to beat us. But it's a free cash prize if you do take down these contests weekly. And then, of course, the leaderboard, running through. It's a good time. You guys can come hang out, play with us, especially jumping in the live chat for the live streams and stuff like that while we do the companion fights. That's a good time. The other thing I do real quick want to bring your guys' attention. I've talked about it a couple times. You guys know already by now. Spectation Sports, regional scene, MMA. I've done some content with them, and there's nothing in January, so I do just want to get that out of the way, but I need to make sure and let you guys know this is the website. Promo code DieHard gets you a discount if you want to sign up for their service, but they got all kinds of good stuff coming up here in the next couple of months. like Aries FC is a really good organization. Cage Titans is awesome. Attitude MMA is actually pretty good. Lights Out Championship is new to me. I'm gonna have to check them out. But there's a lot of really good fights and cards coming up. So if you guys want to check out them, that would be awesome. All right, I'm gonna get caught up here on the chat. Nunya saying Pub Sports Radio is the best in the game, and you couldn't be more correct about that. Asking about action. You know what? Nunya, I got something for you guys. So I will share with you, and I'm sorry. I know at this point, it's just like melted down into promos at this point, but I got to tell you, I've had a lot of good luck meeting really good, awesome people that want to work with me and support me. So I, can't really help it. But I've joined up with the Sharp app, and I will send you guys a link to the Sharp app Discord. They have like legitimate models. They track sharp action. They have a whale that they follow. They can let you know who the squares or the biggest square plays of the day are. And they keep running, records like this, and they can help really push people and make good bets and stuff like that. And because I've got access to that Discord, I will tell you guys, they have a 2-unit play on tonight. You would have to sign up and be part of the paid Discord to get this one. Rangers. So the Rangers tonight in NHL. I am betting on them. Game just started. They're a short favorite. I'm telling you, that's what the play is. I'm on it, and I'll pass it along to you guys. Hopefully you can make a buck on that with me. Let's see here. James talking about Jacob Chikrin. I love that guy. Every time they talk about trading him, I get mad because he's so damn good. I don't really want them to trade Chikrin, but I get it. You can probably get a haul for him the way he's been playing. Justin saying if you took EBT or that Dogcoin Bitcoin, make it rain. Forget the Dogcoin Bitcoin. I'm gonna make a diehard coin. Like we're just gonna make our own currency around here. That's what we're gonna do. Oh, Nunya with the $4.99 dono. Thank you so much. Plus $9,000 since January 1st. Least I can do is donate to my favorite community of cappers. Sure, I'll join the contest next time. Nunya, you are the man. Up 9K since the start of the year, thanks to Pub Sports Radio. Now, that is some good stuff. Worthy of a shout out right there. Holy crap. All right. Folks, that's right. Clintonians and the Degenerate Nation. What's up, Mike? All right, guys. Folks, that's all I got for you. We really don't have much else to talk about tonight. I am getting a little bit hungry. The wife and the daughter, they wouldn't mind an extra couple minutes with me this evening since we don't have a full show to do. So I will call it at that. We're going to go ahead and step aside and hold the rest of it for next week. Obviously, no shows the rest of the week as we don't have any fights or anything like that to talk about. But you guys can find me and all my degenerate betting action on Twitter. We'll have plenty to talk about with the way the MMA community has been going recently. I'm sure somebody's going to just melt down and destroy something over the next week, because with no fights, the MMA community seems to go absolutely insane. I mean, we had like 2 or 3 weeks off, and we had like the lock of the night thing, the Dana White slapping thing. And there was like so much crap. I'm sure in the next 7 days, an asteroid is going to crash into Earth or something, because that's just what happens when we get weeks off of MMA. So fingers crossed, it's a boring week. I hope you guys all have awesome luck on any of your degenerate action. If you're betting on any of the football games or hockey or basketball, God forbid basketball. Good luck if you're doing any of that. But I will be back next week, Monday. And I guess I might as well announce it now. We got Gordo. Gordo Gambles, none other than the man himself who took down the high roller MMA Lock of the Night event, the one that kind of spurred all the drama. Gordo's making his Die Hard MMA podcast debut. Love that guy. We're going to break down the whole card for you. So come on back next week on Monday. If you guys haven't hit the like button, please do so on your way out. I will see you guys online. Good luck on all your degenerate action. Seriously, tons of love. Couldn't do this without you guys. Have a great week. Be good. We'll see you guys next time. Let's roll.